Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. I'm so excited to have Jillian Michaels here because she's incredibly smart. She's so hardworking. She has built a media empire and she just wants you to be healthy and happy. You have the fitness app.
Far too kind of you.
And now you have my undivided attention. I have
and a beverage
for us.
Yeah.
This is, look how beautiful this is.
It's gorgeous.
Like, what a nice summertime drink. This is just strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries, all frozen with ice and plain Topo Chico.
I was such an obnoxious little brat. I tried to drink it before we started.
No, we have to.
And now here we go.
Yes, here we go.
To your health.
To your health. A votre santé, as it were.
What is it? Chin chin? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's lovely.
That's nice.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
Do you mind any notes on your mocktails or sprig of mint, maybe?
That would be great.
Is that rude?
No,
or a
that would be
lime
amazing.
Could also be.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Sprig of mint.
No, mint and lime. Like,
Oh,
I
together.
like any kind of lime mint combo because I feel like they're best friends.
Mojito.
And they complement anything. Yes, but any form of a virgin mojito tastes like a mojito. Like, it is satisfying.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Were you always fit? Or were you a fat kid? Were you a fat kid?
Fat
or like,
kid. I
Really?
thought everybody knew that. Yeah, fat
I remember hearing that, but I also pictured you being like a track star in sixth grade, and they moved you up to the high school because you were so fast.
Oh my God, there's like supposed to do Gutfeld later, and there's a question about whether or not you were the nerd in school or the jock. And it's like, I wasn't intelligent enough to be the nerd, and I wasn't athletic enough to be the jock. I was like, what's it called? Like the character that you can't play in a video game, a non-playable character, an NPC,
Yeah.
my kid called it. That's what I was. I was an NPC, non-playable character.
That's funny.
Very sad. I know.
But what did you think your life was going to be when you finished high school?
You know what? I really didn't know. But, I was always very entrepreneurial. I was hardworking. And I kind of fell into the things that I loved organically. So I graduated high school early, not because I was a genius. I made that very clear. But because my birthday fell on like a weird date.
You're February.
Yeah. So I was like
have
the
a March
youngest
daughter,
one.
so she's like the oldest one in her class.
Yep. Exactly. Hold on. I made this too high now.
There. We're at eye level.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. So I ended up, doing a series of odd jobs and delivering food and parking cars and all this crap. And ended up falling into fitness training because I was pursuing my black belt.
Yeah.
So I was training at the gym and people saw me training and presumed I was a trainer. And fortunately, my mom had the common sense and foresight to help me get my first little certification. And
Oh, cool.
the rest is kind of history. Fell into it.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm just the nosy person who gives people advice at the gym, totally unqualified. and probably
What
giving
advice?
bad
Tell
advice.
me. What's the advice?
Usually it's lift with your back.
Oh, I love that one. do you,
Less in the legs,
Did
more
you
the back.
own
Yeah.
like an
Really hunch
orthopedic
over
surgery
when you're
center?
lifting that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I also,
Here's my card.
I have a side hustle as an orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah, come see me when you herniate
Come on
5
over.
days.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
It'll be fun.
Smart.
Yeah. But I do, like, I swim, and I always want to correct people's form. And then I realize if they watch me swim, they'd really want to correct my form. So I
think
don't.
so?
Yeah.
Really? Why do you think that? Is your form no good?
Oh, it used to be horrible. And then I've worked really, really hard. And so now all I have is my form and no speed, but I look like I'm swimming really fast.
That's awesome, though.
Sure
Make
it
that
is.
better.
Well,
No, I
just-
see. I would look at your form and think, wow.
no, I have the same thing running. Like, if you look at me running, you're like, oh, what is that, an 8-minute mile? 10 and a half on a good day. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is excellent.
Oh, sure it is. Yeah.
No, honest to God, I'm a terrible, terrible runner. I have no slow twitch fiber. I'm all fast twitch.
So you'd be a great sprinter.
I am the absolute where I could do anything once.
Yeah.
Like a one-arm pull-up, you'd be like, whoa, one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm a horrendously slow runner. And you're running like a 6 miles per hour is a 10-minute mile. That's not terrible.
No.
That's good.
No, but I run it like people go, oh, wow, she knows what she's doing. And then they run next to me and like, oh, that's so sad.
No.
It's like
I don't agree.
it's like an old Mercedes with a 4-cylinder engine in it.
Hold on. Old Mercedes
looks
are
great.
awesome.
Yes, it looks fantastic.
And it runs
Yes, it does.
all the time. It's reliable.
Great grocery getter. Not so much on the freeway. And that's okay. So I've been wanting to ask you something.
Okay.
So I am 52, almost 53. I do half Ironman triathlons. I usually do 2 races a year.
Awesome.
It's great. I love it.
It's amazing.
That's what helps my fitness, because I'm always training. I'm never working out for how I look. I'm always literally just trying to get a little bit faster. So I have a coach. She gives me a schedule. I try to adhere to it as best I can. Sometimes I do. Most weeks I don't, but I really do try. So I am never heavier than right before races. I look like I'm 10 pounds heavier. And the one criticism that people always give me is on social media is they tell me I look fat. And it's like, I know I'm not fat. I know I'm in great shape. And I lift weights and I eat protein.
People tell you
and
you're
berries.
fat on social media?
Yes.
You need to block
They tell
that
me I have
person.
fat arms. And I'm like, I
Are
swim
you reading those? Don't
all
read
the
those.
time
Do not
and
read
lift weights. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then you were like, Ozempic is bad. You just need to be in calorie deficit. And I'm like, I'm in a calorie deficit, and my body still holds on to
Well,
everything.
what it sounds like you're doing, if I had to guess, you're obviously training a lot and you're probably eating too little. So the reason you think you're the biggest before a race is probably because
I'm
you're holding.
heaviest and
But you're probably holding water
Yeah.
and relatively swollen and overtraining a little bit. And that's why that's happening. Whereas if I dialed back your training and gave you a little bit more food, you would shrink.
Yeah, I don't know. I really love food. I'm not one of those.
Okay,
I'm
how
not one of those no food people. I'm one of those people that.
So how many calories are you getting? And then what's your training regimen?
It depends on the day. I would say I get probably 2,100 calories a day.
Okay, but how many hours are you training?
Some days it's 2 hours. That's pretty typical. Some days it's an hour. Some days I will do a half hour of sprints if that's the only time I have.
Okay. I mean, I would
And
tell you.
I do Pilates.
Pilates is great.
I do
but
lift weights.
if you're training a lot, especially for people that engage in endurance sports, generally it's a sign of overtraining. They swell up a little bit. They're holding fluid. And I would imagine that after like a week of nothing, you probably drop about 5 pounds.
Yes.
If you run.
Yeah, after races for sure. Right after races, I get hot dog fingers and my legs swell up, like
swollen.
really bad edema.
100%. That's why, and leading up to that, you're also training a heck of a lot. You know, with endurance sports, listen, I'm all for
What should people be doing?
a marathon. You know, don't forget that the first guy that ran a marathon, didn't he die?
That's true.
It's like,
Yeah.
The Romans are coming dead.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I didn't ace history, but I'm pretty sure that guy died. So, you know, I say those kinds of things are really bucket list. And from that point, pick something reasonable like a sprint try, a classic try, and work to perfect your time. Cross train. Don't do one thing over and over to avoid overuse injuries.
That's why I love triathlon. Is like I'm doing different stuff every day.
Awesome. That is awesome.
And I love long, slow runs. Like it is meditative, like a 2-hour run. But I go by time, not distance. And it's like I go as slow as possible to keep my heart rate down, because the long runs, you want a nice low heart rate.
How fast are you running for 2 hours?
That's probably like 11.5 minute mile.
So like a 5.5 probably.
Yeah.
It's a lot. How often are you doing 2-hour runs?
Once a week. I have
a
one
week,
long
okay.
run a week.
Once a week, that's
and
okay.
one long
then,
bike a week. And
and
then the
recovery
rest
time.
is,
Okay, and strength training. And it's not so bad. I mean, if you were doing like long runs often.
No, my body does not like the long runs often.
Okay,
My
but
body likes-
most people don't. Most people are not built
I
to.
talk to people who are the ultra marathoners. One guy who was a gymnastics dad when my girls were in gymnastics, he's a little, sorry, Jim. He was running 10 miles a day. And I'm like, I can't do that.
But even Cam Haines, who's, I mean, listen, he's very aspirational, but like I ran 250 miles on a smashed foot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like David Goggins.
I mean, you
He's
can.
like, I ran 80 miles for the first time and pooped myself.
Yeah, like you can.
I love David Goggins.
I think he's great, but there's a David Goggins that will tell you that he's running from demons. Literally,
Yeah.
he will tell you this. So if you're exercising demons in your mind and running is saving your life, quite literally, that's very different than doing something because you want a clean bill of health at the doctor's office.
What would you tell someone to do? Like, what would be a good week?
Truthfully, I would always default to common sense first. And at this point, I'm trying to meet people where they're at. You know, if you'd caught me 10 years ago, I probably would have been far more demanding. But the reality is, if you don't overeat, you will not get bigger. Calories are units of energy. Fat does a lot of things in the body, but it is comprised of stored energy. That's how it gets there. It's physics. It's the first law of thermodynamics, right? Energy isn't created or destroyed in a vacuum. Like fat doesn't just arrive there.
Yeah.
So like you have to put it in, calories in, and then they get converted into fat cells to store energy. If you don't eat too many calories, I'm sorry, the carbohydrate insulin model of obesity has been debunked.
I love carbohydrates.
That's totally fine.
I really do.
Ideally, they would be complex carbohydrates.
Of course.
Right. But
I mean, I have celiac disease, so I'm not sitting around eating Wonder Bread.
Oh, that's brutal, but good, though, that you're not, right?
Yeah.
So that's just not true. If you don't overeat, you won't get bigger. Where that Venn diagram of size and health intersects is with what accompanies those calories. So is it a bunch of chemicals and preservatives and fake fats and fake sugars and fake dyes and this, that, the other, emulsifiers? Or is it micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, polyphenols,
Micro bok choy,
Yes.
which I love.
Absolutely.
Big fan.
Yes.
Just discovered the micro bok choy.
Totally. So this is like, don't overeat. Use common sense with your food choices. Eat whole foods as often as you can.
I do.
If you can afford organic, do it.
Especially, but there are certain
worth
foods where
it.
you absolutely should get organic,
Thin
like
skinned
berries.
fruits and vegetables, 100%. I would say dairy and the quality of your protein really matters.
I like the good cottage cheese.
That's wonderful.
That brand.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, because
good culture.
Good culture, yeah,
Good culture.
because they have probiotics.
Is it organic? I think it is. Isn't good
It's
culture
organic
organic?
enough. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
They only have it at Whole Foods around me. Like the Morton Williams doesn't have it,
Okay.
which is fine.
All right.
But I love that because that's not like. I think people get really frustrated because they feel like they have to construct a food prison.
They don't.
It's like,
that's why you give them the
keto.
calorie allowance.
I wear a glucose monitor on my arm because of keto. And it's like, that's no fun. I don't want to.
If you like it and it motivates you,
Sure.
do it.
Yeah.
You know, by all means, that's great. Still follow the same principles. Don't overeat. Use common sense with your food choices. If you're keto, ideally you'd have grass-fed steak instead of bologna, right?
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
Do you eat meat?
Absolutely. Oh, God, yeah. And a few times in my life I stopped, not for health reasons, because I'm like a huge animal lover.
Yes.
And I hate being responsible for killing something. Like, I hate it. It's been a huge thing for me my whole life. And the reality is I've looked at this from every single angle. And it's like, oh, you people who don't eat meat kill more little critters in the fields with your vegetable. And I become anemic. The reality is I become anemic every time like that.
Yeah.
So I do eat meat for my health. I eat good quality meat. I don't eat tons of meat
When you
because I
come
don't
to
need
New
it.
York, where do you eat?
Gosh, I'm usually in and out. So like I always kind of go to like Le Pan Quotidien because it's manageable. I know the quality of the ingredients are solid.
Oh, good.
I usually pack like a bag of snacks, but I'm out now.
If
So
you
I've
were
run
on
through
the
them.
road driving through Iowa
Yeah.
and there's only fast food, what do you get?
Yeah. I would stop at like a convenience store and get the little pack of hard-boiled eggs or the
Nice.
little cheese stick or maybe the beef jerky.
I love beef jerky.
Like the best
There's
quality I
so
can
many
find.
healthy beef jerkies
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. So that's generally what I would defer to. I would get probably the piece of fruit to go with it that might not be organic, and if there's any nuts that are not roasted in chemically extracted seed oil, I'm probably trying to.
Do you love RFK Jr.?
Listen, I don't even know him.
Okay.
I want to be super clear about this. I've met him twice.
Okay.
I do not work for this administration. I can't attest to the quality of his character in any way whatsoever. But the things that he is advocating for are significant. And the problems that he is identifying are real.
Yes, these chronic conditions, chronic childhood obesity. It's like
Exploding
autoimmune
rates
conditions.
of autoimmune conditions,
Yes.
of autism, of infertility, of early onset cancer diagnoses. Like, this is real. And we should be asking questions. We should be trying to get to the bottom of these
Do you
things.
think it's like EMFs and 5G and it's out there, or do you think it's the foods that we're putting into our bodies?
It's all of it.
Okay.
It really is all of it. I mean, any credible expert that I have had the pleasure of interviewing really come down to the conclusion that it's the cumulative effects of the crap in your water, the crap in your air, the crap in your food, a sedentary life. I mean, to be honest, for its clerical errors, the Maha report identified 4 key things that are at the root of this. Not that we didn't know this already. It's the insane rise in ultra-processed foods. It's our sedentary lifestyle. It's the over-medicalization of our conditions. And it's the chemicals in our environment. That's it. That is it. That is the answer. So you can't isolate one thing, nor should you. And in fact,
people like that. Our brains really like oversimplifying.
I know, and it's annoying. I was in a conversation recently with an MIT professor who had a podcast, and she was talking to me about red number 3. She's like, I've done all of this research, and you would need to eat, I don't even remember, 5 777s full of red.
These are all organic. These frozen berries, all organic.
They better be. I'd expect nothing less.
Yes, and local.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. The point she was trying to make is, you're fear-mongering over this food dye, but for it to be exceptionally nefarious, according to the conflicted research, by the way, you would need to eat an insane amount.
Like a gallon a day for 45 years.
Exactly. But the point that I was trying to make to her is twofold. First of all, you're negating all of the other chemicals that you're taking in. How are you not looking at toxic load across the board? And why are you advocating for petroleum-based food dyes when there's beetroot powder here?
Yeah. As long as it's
it's a never Trump conversation.
I know beets
it's nonsensical.
and turmeric and powdered kale and like that. I know it's vibrant. I just don't want the government, because, man, I love freedom. I don't want the government telling me what to put in my body. Sometimes I want a very brightly colored snow cone when I go to Hawaii.
Can I ask you this, though?
Indeed.
Here's the problem. When I leave home, it is almost impossible for me to mitigate all of the chemicals and the crap and the poison that I come into contact with. And if I get cancer, it will not be because I didn't exercise and I didn't eat great. So when I leave home, my coffee's not organic. The milk is not organic. The chemicals in my hotel room, it give me a headache almost instantly. They really do. The cleaners and all that that makeup I have to wear every single day, all this stuff. If I literally could just show up at a hotel and a toxic ingredient was banned and you had to use green, clean products, why is that bad? Why do you want a petroleum-based food dye? And by the way, if you want it so bad, you could eat a marker and some Vaseline and you'd be good.
I've done it.
Hey, I'm just saying, he's still making the COVID vax available. It's just not recommended on the CDC schedule for children.
I don't have a problem with that either. I don't have a problem with rethinking the schedule of vaccines that we give our kids. And I was talking to one of the lawyers who is in charge of Del Bigtree's foundation, and and he's a trial lawyer, and he was explaining a lot of these things to me. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
I'm not either,
and
but
when my kids were babies, we sat down with a pediatrician and was like, okay, this feels like too much. Maybe we don't clump them all here and here and here. Maybe we rethink this one. And she was very receptive to that.
That is exactly the way that I've been advocating for people to approach it, because if you look at something like whooping cough, that poses a real freaking threat to your newborn.
Yeah, my friend's newborn almost died from it because they didn't vaccinate their older son. He brought it home, and their child
it'll kill
almost
you.
died.
Literally.
She was in ICU for weeks.
Okay, now is that child going to get hepatitis B?
No, the child's not getting hepatitis B.
Right, unless mom has hepatitis B.
Yeah,
and you can test mom.
Sure.
So that's exactly the point. There's a ton of nuance, but if you shut down these conversations, then there's definitely something bizarre going on. Why are we not allowed to ask these questions? And the reality is, when you go digging for answers, there's some pretty grifty things that occurred when it comes to, let's say, the hepatitis B vaccination being on the schedule for kids. Do your own homework around it. But so I'm all for asking questions, and I'm all for holding big corporations accountable. I don't think that we should have chemicals sprayed on our crops excessively that are linked to chemical warfare like Agent Orange. That should be illegal to me. I don't know. So I would like to see some of this stuff that is a known poison removed from our food and our water.
Yes. I agree. We do have much cleaner water than we did in even the 90s. It's like a lot of conservatives hate Richard Nixon for passing the Clean Water and Clean Air Acts, which is very funny. But, it's like when I first moved to Southern California in 1990, I couldn't see the mountains in the San Gabriel Valley because of the smog. Like, it was awful. I remember trying to go running at night and my throat and my eyes were watering and burning and I was like, this is not right. However, now our water and our air are so much cleaner, and my only worry is the hysteria, because if we have
bad stuff in the water, though.
I know, if we have these questions, which is fine. I just feel bad for parents who've already vaccinated their kids, because I don't want them to live with guilt.
Already guilty, but you
because you can't unring that bell.
you can't, and that's okay. We do our best at the time. Mm-hmm. I remember my ex being skeptical, and I was working on a show called The Doctors, and all the doctors were like, "Oh, don't be ridiculous." And I just followed the dogma. I was like, well, these are doctors. But you don't really think about who trained them and what research is actually available to them. And did they actually read the package insert in the hepatitis B vaccine that says it was only monitored for safety, pre-licensure for 5 days after each injection? Like, did you look at that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying that you do the best you can. And when you know more, you evolve. I don't have a time machine. I can't go back and unvaccinate my son for hepatitis B. But as I learn more, I make changes in all of our lives to try to improve and keep us healthier. But it should be helpful if the government supported us instead of worked against us.
When you go home, are you a trad wife? Do you churn your own butter?
I don't have time to do
you wear
any of that.
handmade muslin clothing?
I do
and
not.
Churn your butter?
I don't, I'm afraid. I would love to be that person, but I don't have the skill set or the time. But my ex is kind of like that. She's good at that stuff. Yeah, she can, like, I don't know, kept bees, and she's a gardener, and she was way ahead of the curve with that stuff.
Did she have chickens before the bees?
We had chickens.
Okay, because my cousin, who now has goats, said chickens are the gateway animal. And once you get chickens, then you get ducks. And then once you get ducks, then you get goats. And so I want to bypass all of it. And I told my partner, like, I want a donkey. And he's like, absolutely not. Please don't ever say that again. I'm like, wouldn't you love, like, a funny, silly donkey just running around the yard?
Pig.
He's like, no.
And some horses.
Yeah. I would love a pig. I would love a micro pig. I would love to sleep in bed with a micro pig.
Stella, she slept on our dog
overwhelmed.
Bed, which was good.
How they're cute and smart.
Sometimes they're a little angry, though.
Really?
Yeah. You can see that like wild boar DNA come out every now and again, especially around dinner time.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
It's like, do that again.
Yes.
I'm feeding you bacon. All right.
That's exactly.
Cannibal. Jillian, thank you so much. I love talking to you. I would love to talk to you more and more about everything in the world.
You.
I feel better about my fitness and my life and my water supply.
Get a reverse osmosis filter.
Okay. Consider it done. I'm gonna give 15 away right now to the fourth college. No, I'm just kidding. Jillian Michaels, the fitness app. Be well and continue to prosper and conquer the world.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Back at you.
This has been Kennedy Saves the World, along with Jillian Michaels. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app. Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.